All right, welcome back to the Dominaria United common review for Pauper. Finishing up strong with the artifacts and colorless spells of the set, as well as the wrap up and final thoughts. So, a lot to talk about on this one. Let's go ahead and start off with Automatic Librarian. It's a 3/2 artifact creature construct for 3 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. What do you got here for me?
I think that this card is better than the previous iterations we've seen. The extra bump in power is really relevant for Enlist. 3 mana, Scry 2, 3/2 is totally playable on its own, regardless of the color. This thing trades with everything you need it to. It does its job when it enters. It's not going to be your win condition, but it'll find that win count for you.
Yeah. Um, I think this card's quite good. I'm a fan of most of these cards. I was a huge fan of Filigree Familiar. I don't think this card's quite that good, but it's not bad. Um, it's no Pilgrim's Eye, but it's getting close. Scry 2 is very akin to draw a card or a strong card top deck manipulation where you are almost certainly going to draw the card that you want to draw next turn. Um, I'm a fan. I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about with this one. I think this is pretty cut and dry. It's good, and you're gonna play it if you can.
Hmm.
All right. Next up is Meteorite. Um, man, let me tell you, as a Pauper player, when I looked at the spoiler and I saw this card had been downshifted, I was hyped. Um, this card might not look like much. 5 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, deal 2 damage to any target. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. But boy, is Tron happy to see it. Um, man, Tron is really excited to play this card, and I think that being able to flicker this card with Ghostly Flicker is going to make this card quite strong in Tron. What do you think?
Yeah. Now, Tron is going to be super happy for this. I don't think it goes anywhere else. Typically, when you see something like this, you're like 5 mana for a mana rock, but that's kind of the mana amount you're trying to get up to, anyways.
Yeah,
And then also paying 5 for a shock doesn't feel great.
yeah.
So the ways that you make this better is just by repeatedly making it enter, and Tron's got the tools to do that as well as cast it early. Um, yeah, this is a niche constructed card.
Agreed. Next up is a card I know you're really excited about. Salvaged Mana Worker. 1/3 for 2 colorless. It's an artifact creature construct. 1 mana, add 1 mana of any color, activate only once each turn. Um, Sadly, this is not a Prismite. I want this to be a 1 mana Prismite. I think that a 1-for-1 exchange of uncolored to colored mana would be really, really good and welcome in Pauper in general. I think that it would turn Ashnod's Ultra combos into real combos. Um, Pretty let down by this card, I'll be honest. It was so close to being good. You change a couple of words in this text box, or you change one number in this text box, and all of a sudden, this card's great. But as is, sadly, I think we're going to be left wanting.
Um, Trying to think why I should be happy for this card. Yeah, the activate only once each turn really kills this. If it had Defender, oh man, that'd
Hmm.
be it. Game over. Walls wins. Um, just being able to replace that the Orochi to where you can filter to anything,
Yep.
regardless of color. But it's, I mean, even even if they gave this card Enlist, it would be better. And Enlist is a difficult keyword to work with.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
this
know.
card
I
does
think this card was really close to breaking open a lot of decks, and then it came up just a tad short. It's disappointing.
in all respects.
Next up is probably the best common for constructed Pauper outside of Tolarian Terror. Shieldwall Sentinel. 1/3 Defender for 4. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with Defender, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Wonderwalls, I mean, wow. Wonderwalls is so happy about this. It also has Defender itself, so you can just like Squadron Hawk this if you really need to. You can also use it to get Drift of Phantasms, as funny as that sounds, if you need to be able to transmute to things that don't have Defender, which is kind of hilarious. Which can get you to your win cons like Galvanic Alchemist or Bloodrite Invoker, to be able to just outright win off of searching for a Defender, which is kind of hilarious to me. This will almost certainly see play in Wonderwalls. I don't think it will be a 4 of, but it will definitely make the 75. I mean, you're a Wonderwalls player. What do you think about this card?
I love it. I want more. This card is just beautiful. Looking at it, there's nothing I would change. It's appropriately costed, appropriately sized. It's got all the words that I care about. I am enamored with this. Even though it's an artifact, which is usually a pretty big drawback, especially due to the relevance of, or prevalence of affinity. This card does its job when it enters, which is something that I always am happy about with creatures. It doesn't even have to block anything, and I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
This card is just mana from heaven.
Yeah,
for all
I
of the
mean
wall
this is your Goblin Matron, man. Like this card's great for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, this searches for the transmute card that has Defender, so you can find your win cons off of it. It finds you your mana pieces like Axebane,
yep.
or Overground Battlement. It finds you everything you need except for the 1-drops that filter mana. But this can still, throughout that chain, find Lead Stampede, which can hopefully get that off the top.
Right.
So, it gives you hope every single time you draw it. And it gives you
I think this card just does everything that you need it to be able to do. It's colorless, which is even good for you. I mean, I know Artifact normally would be a downside, but this having a colorless mana cost is actually a huge boon in that deck. Because you just don't know what colors you're going to be drawing most of the time. You're going to make a lot of green. That's about it. Yeah, I think this card is a slam dunk, man. I'm excited to see the Wonderwalls lists get a crack at this card. I think it's going to be good. Next up is Vanquishers Axe. It's a 1-mana equipment that gives equipped creature +2/+0, equipped for 2. This is no Bone Splitter. This is just straight up not a Bone Splitter. I can't imagine the format that has Bone Splitter, Great Sword of Tyr, Rancor. I can't see this card showing up. Period. The end. You have thoughts here?
No, this card's not going to be played.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not even Battle or the Axe is played as a 4 of.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Roll it right along then. We come to the dual lands. We have a set of 10 dual lands from this set. Just like the Kaldheim snow duels that we had previously, we now have typed non-snow duels. We've got 10 altogether. Contaminated Aquifer, Geothermal Bog, Haunted Mire, Idyllic Beachfront, Molten Tributary, Radiant Grove, Sacred Peaks, Sunlit Marsh, Tangled Islet, and Wooded Ridgeline. I mean, outside of them not dealing damage to you from Icequake and letting your opponent gain a life off Thermokarst, I don't see any upside for these as opposed to the snow duels, and I don't really see many reasons that you're gonna run more than 4 of those dual lands with things like the campuses from Strixhaven, with things like um, the draw lands from Streets New Capenna. Um, you just don't need that many interplay tapped typed duels in a deck, even a deck that cares about typed duels. But um, should there be a domain deck that rises to the surface, these could certainly see play in that. I think they're welcome to the format. I think that they're good for deck diversity. They've got great art. They're available in cheap foils. I think this is just a win for the format overall. I'm happy about this.
Hmm. Yeah, I like these lands. They do feel redundant, and they feel like they're a bit less than the Snowlands. So I do question the release order. Um, but the not gaining life for your opponent with Thermokarst seems relevant. Um, I don't know what a domain deck looks like in constructed, but it did just get a little bit more possible with these.
Agreed. I think that as far as cubes concerned, I think that we've kind of tapped out as far as our non-basic land package. We don't need more duels. Certainly not duels that don't do other things. Um, I think that you have a preference here. You can run these or the snow duels. In my cube, there's no benefit to one or the other, and I already have a set of all 10 foil duels, the snow duels from Kaldheim in the cube. I don't see any reason to replace those with these. But if you like these better, there's also no downside. Do what you want to do with your cube. I agree. I don't think there's a whole lot of impact for constructed here unless a domain deck rises. I think that in limited, these are fine. I like that they're commons. Um, and yeah, I think that you could very happily play these in cube and be hyped about it. I just don't think they'll be in mine.
Yeah, it's probably going to be an art preference.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Um, Last but not least, before we jump into some closing thoughts and the best of the best, um, Crystal Grotto. Land, when it enters the battlefield, scry 1. It can tap to add a colorless, or you can use it to filter a colorless into a mana of any color. Um, this is the newest iteration of these filter land cycles. I mean, there's a lot of them. Um, this is not better than Cave of Temptation. Scry 1 does not even come close to the ability to put 2/1/1 counters on a creature later in the game. Um, I think this will almost certainly knock like Unknown Shores or something out of the cube in favor of a Scry, because we have a few redundancies that we can, diversify with additional ETB abilities. This is just a value gain over those cards, so we're happy to see it. Um, Great art. I think this card in foil is going to look incredible. Um, no way this card sees play over Cave of Temptation in constructed, but it'll definitely make a slot in the cube, or at least mine. And I'm happy to play with this card. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Like you said, this is a very, very repeated effect across many lands with different names.
Yep.
But they're getting closer to making me want to play this type of land over just another basic.
Yeah.
Like this really has a home in decks that are 3 colors or more. And they really need to hit their lands. I'd say probably even 4 or 5 colors is where you would feel okay running this. But if you're doing that, you're probably going to be base green with tutors anyways. So I don't know if it had Scry 1 or Scry it's something just between Scry 1 and Scry 2. I don't know what that is, but if it had just a little extra,
what if it
I'd be
doesn't
happy
have
about
an enter the battlefield ability? What if you take enters the battlefield scry 1 off this card entirely? You have it enter the battlefield untapped, it can tap for a colorless mana, or it can filter a mana, and then instead of 4 mana tap sacrifice it, it's 4 mana tap scry 1.
it. Okay, so the Strixhaven stuff.
You take the Cave of Temptation template, and instead of 2/1/1 counters, you give it the Strixhaven scry 1. What do you think?
Ah. I don't think that's better.
You don't
Even
think
though
it's better than
repeatable,
enter the battlefield scry 1?
Yeah, I like the free Scry 1.
Okay.
Maybe if it had that as well as an activation, maybe make it a little bit more expensive if you need to try and fit the power budget. But it's I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's got to have between Scry 1 and Scry 2. I don't know what that is exactly, but it has the immediate value of playing this. It does come in untapped, which I really enjoy.
Yep, same.
Hell, if it needs to come in tapped and use Scry 2.
Oh, I have a way to make you put this in way more decks.
All right.
You ready?
Gate.
Land dash gate.
Yeah. Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
They have one that's similar.
They do have a filter
Spire gate. Yeah, they have a filter gate, but they also have a Rupture Spire gate.
Yep.
And I don't know which one's better. I think it's
Spire.
the filter gate. I think it's the filter gate because you can make the treasure with it.
Well, yeah, that's Heap Gate
2.
though. I mean, Heap Gate's Heap Gate. Heap Gate's good.
Oh, sorry. Were you talking about a different filter gate?
Yes. I was talking about just filter gate.
Yuck.
Yep.
Nah.
Yeah, I think this
Heap
card's
Gate's
going to
right
look great in foil, and I'm excited to put one in the cube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think so. I saw a wonderful saga that was foil, and I thought it would be awful, but it turns out the more blank space on the left there was, the prettier the card got. So I'm hesitant about the foil of this Crystal Grotto. I think like Idyllic Breachfront might be prettier, or Radiant Grove might be prettier in foil, but I would be happy to get 4 of those anyways.
Yep.
Just to be proven wrong.
All right, that just about wraps up the bunch of cards for this color. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. It's a brand new YouTube channel. Any help really does matter. Share this video with your friends. And by all means, let me know if you think we misevaluated something. Sleeper Bomb, what's your favorite card out of this color? So let us know down in the comments below. As usual, goodbye forever. Let's see you tomorrow.